Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to everyday objects which have become obsolete. Now, I remember back when I was a little kid, I remember owning a cassette player. This was in the 90s, and my first ever, cassette tape, I think was Michael Jackson's album Bad. I used to listen to that all the time. I remember you had to rewind it, to get back to the start of the song. It was quite clunky. It was one of those Sony Walkman things, I remember. And then I had a CD player, a personal CD player that they were this big, they were that thick. And you had to be careful when you were walking with it, because if you stepped too hard, the CD would jump and the song would be distorted. Man, memory lane. And then I had an iPod mini, which I really wish I had, because I think they're antiques now. It's just crazy when you think back, there's just society and technology has changed so much in the last just 20 years, 25 years. It has changed dramatically, and it makes you think, what else is going to go, obsolete in the next few years. A phone's going to be the same as what they are now, considering what they used to look like. I remember my dad used to have a big Nokia 3210. It was that big, and it had an antenna sticking out of it. But yeah, this video is going to be quite cool, a little blast from the past. Let's do it. Recollection Road.
Before cell phones were in the pocket of every American, payphones were the only way to make a call when you were out of the house. You could find payphones on street corners, in public places, and within buildings. They were easy to recognize, especially if they had their own booth, and the distinctive sound of coins dropping into the slot could be heard. With the widespread popularity of cell phones, payphones and phone booths became less and less common, and today they are nearly impossible to find.
Yeah, you can still find them here in London, but I think it's mainly for the cultural landmark, because the red telephone booth is, an iconic sort of image of London. So I don't think we'll ever get rid of them totally, but I don't know if the phones actually still work in them. I wonder how much it costs to use a payphone.
Cigarette vending machines were once ubiquitous in bars, restaurants, and public places. They offered a convenient way to purchase a pack of cigarettes without having to go to a store. These machines were usually operated
25 cents for a pack of cigarettes. Am I reading that right? That is, wow, I think they're what, 15, 20 pounds now? How much are they in America to buy cigarettes?
with either coins or tokens. However, with the increased awareness of the health risks associated with smoking, cigarette vending machines were banned in many places, and the remaining machines were slowly phased out because they were in less and less demand.
Or maybe that was 25 cents per cigarette?
TV Guide was a weekly publication that provided a comprehensive list of all the TV shows that were airing that week. It was an essential tool for anyone who wanted to keep up with their favorite shows.
Wow.
The TV Guide was typically delivered to your home or could be purchased at a newsstand. However, with the rise of cable and satellite TV, the number of channels increased dramatically, and it became impossible to fit all the listings in a printed guide. As a result, the TV Guide transitioned to digital platforms, and the printed version became obsolete.
Crazy. It's just, for me, the concept of having to buy something to know when the programs are being aired, it's incredible, because I've always been able to just use the remote to scroll across, or just to auto record whatever show I'm watching.
Jukeboxes were a staple of American diners, bars, and dance halls.
They still exist.
They were a source of entertainment, and people could choose their favorite songs to play. Jukeboxes were typically large and colorful, with bright lights and a variety of music options. But with the rise of digital music and streaming services, jukeboxes became less popular, and today it's pretty rare to find one.
I mean, jukeboxes in pubs here are still quite common. I'm glad to actually see that, because when you've had a couple of drinks, you always want to put on your favorite song, get everyone dancing and stuff.
Newspaper vending machines were once a common sight on street corners and in many public places. They were a convenient way to get your newspaper if you didn't already have one delivered to your door. These machines were stocked up in the morning with the news of the day, and if you waited too late, they might have all been gone. Newspapers and the industry in general have taken a big hit with the emergence of the internet, with many publications moving toward digital subscriptions. Newspaper vending machines have become much less common, and so today they are difficult to find, and often completely abandoned.
It's a weird one. I'm kind of conflicted here because I remember when I used to get the train into to work. Like here in London, there's a newspaper called The Metro, which is free. And I would always pick one up at the station and read it. There's something about actually reading a physical newspaper, which is actually, I don't know, it's just a bit better than reading on an app. But then I think of all of the waste, all of the paper, but then you can recycle it. So I kind of miss it, to be fair, like the actual physical newspaper.
Phone books were thick directories that contained the names and phone numbers of people and businesses in a particular area. They were a staple of every household and were typically delivered to your home. Phone books were organized by white pages, which were for residential, and yellow pages, which were for commercial, and they were a valuable resource for finding a phone number. These directories have now been replaced by internet search engines, and the printed version has become a thing of the past.
Yeah, we used to have here it's called the yellow pages. Like it used to be like that thick, for finding, companies like, mechanics, stuff like that, repairmen. Yeah, the internet completely just changed everything, didn't it?
The $2 bill was a unique currency note that was once part of regular circulation.
$2 bill?
It featured Thomas Jefferson on the front and the signing of the Declaration of Independence on the back. $2 bills were typically used as change and were considered rare because they were not often seen. These were fun bills to receive in a birthday card, and kids would often collect them. But the demand for physical cash has decreased dramatically, and the production of the $2 bills decreased, making them even more of a collector's item.
Yeah, wow. I didn't even know that existed.
Vending machines were a convenient way to purchase snacks and drinks on the go. They could be found in a variety of locations, including schools, hospitals, and other public places. Vending machines were typically operated with coins, and later bills, and they offered a variety of things to choose from, including candy, chips, and beverages. Today, there are fast food restaurants everywhere you turn, so vending machines are seen as a last resort. They are now found in fewer locations, but still remain in areas where people need a quick snack, like airports and train stations.
Vending machines are still quite popular here in offices, because you haven't really got time to pop to the nearest store to get like a snack. So yeah, very, very, every office I've worked in has had a vending machine.
Typewriters were once the primary tool for producing written documents. They were found in just about every office and were also used for personal correspondence, so many people had them at home too. Typewriters were operated by pressing keys, which caused a mechanical arm to strike a ribbon and leave an impression on paper. They were reliable and durable, but had limitations in terms of formatting and correcting mistakes. So computers and word processing software made typewriters unnecessary, and today they're typically only used by enthusiasts.
Yeah, that's the thing with a typewriter. Like if you make a mistake, what happens? Do you just can you cross out like certain letters? Because there's no way to remove the ink from the paper, is there? Would you just cross out the word some way, or would you just move over to the next word? Like, how did it work with mistakes using typewriters?
Film was once the primary medium for capturing images and recording events. It was used in cameras and movie projectors and was the primary source of entertainment in movie theaters. Film was reliable and produced high-quality images, but had limitations in terms of recording time and editing. With the introduction of digital cameras and editing software, film became less common, and today it is typically used only by die-hard photographers who love the look and process of developing film.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan actually records all of his movies. He films all of his movie in film. Like he prefers the look of it. And I think I agree. There is a look about actual film as opposed to digital that just feels more cinematic to me. Even in photos, like little Polaroids, there's just a look to it.
Fax machines were once the fastest way to send and receive documents
Yeah.
over long distances.
My dad used to use
They were
a fax
another
all the
feature of
time.
just about every office. Fax machines used a telephone line to transmit documents between two machines, but they had limitations in terms of resolution and image quality. With email and digital document sharing, fax machines have become much less common, so the ones that are still around are collecting more and more dust. The Rolodex.
My dad used to use a fax all the time. I remember when he was using the fax machine, we couldn't use the internet at the same time or use the phone.
Was once an essential organizational tool for desks across the country. It was used to keep track of names, phone numbers, and addresses for business and personal contacts. The Rolodex consisted of a series of cards that were organized alphabetically and could be flipped through easily. But once again, computers and now cell phones have pretty much made the Rolodex completely obsolete.
Rolodex. Interesting.
Carbon paper was once a necessary tool for making copies of documents, and credit card imprinters were used to make a physical imprint of a credit card for payment. Carbon paper was placed between two sheets of paper, and then pressure was applied to create a copy of the original. This made paying with a credit card much more time-consuming, so the introduction of a digital payment system was welcomed, making the manual credit card imprinters disappear.
Interesting, system there. Like, must have taken ages to process payments. Like, how long would it take, someone to process a payment using this machine? Are we talking 5 minutes? Because even 5 minutes compared to like the few seconds that you can just use, chip and pin or contactless, it's a huge difference, isn't it?
All of these objects were once part of our daily lives, but they have seemed to disappear completely. Which of these objects do you miss the most? Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and maybe even consider supporting the channel over on Patreon.
Super interesting. Fantastic video, real blast from the past. I'm glad that, jukeboxes are still, being used today, and vending machines, because even though, technology is going to progress no matter what, it's nice to, hang on to a couple of things here and there, just as, I don't know, like reminders or just nostalgia. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, like most of the technology that's replaced the stuff on this video is just way better, isn't it? It's just way faster. Like sending stuff by fax, it used to be such an inconvenience if somebody was like surfing, like if I was on the internet, my dad was, sending stuff by fax, I just couldn't use the internet, we had to wait for him to be finished. And, now just emailing, taking a photo or a scan and just emailing to wherever it's going, it's just so much more convenient. So I guess, technology for the most part has been better. There's probably certain things that have maybe made society worse, maybe things like social media, arguably, but for the most part, I think most innovations have been improvements. But let me know you guys' thoughts, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.